Noah Penner. I've been a firefighter for Lexington Rogersville for about 3 years now. And today, hopefully we can teach you something about portable fire extinguishers, when to use the right extinguisher for the right fire, and to be able to differentiate the different kinds of extinguishers. These are the different classifications of fire extinguishers. We have A, B, C, D, and K. They're identified by class letter or a combination of letters for which the extinguisher is rated. The most common ones being ABC, AB, and BC. And new extinguishers must be labeled with the appropriate letters and or symbols. As you can see on this fire extinguisher, it has the letter rating. It also has a pictograph determining what this extinguisher is good for. If you want to take a closer look. Any questions, comments, concerns?
None right now.
Extinguishers should only be used for the type of fire that they are intended for, and the appropriate extinguisher depends on what is on fire and what's burning. Certain extinguishing agents are only effective on certain classes of fuels or fires. And Class A and B extinguishers are the two classifications with letter and numerical ratings. So for example, if you have a 4A 20BC fire extinguisher, it should extinguish a Class A fire that is 4 times larger than a Class 1A, or for the Class B, it should extinguish a fire that is approximately 20 times larger than a 1B fire. And since it is a C-rated extinguisher, it must also be non-conductive, so it's safe for use on fires involving energized electrical equipment. These ratings don't affect each other in any way. And all these classifications and tests are done by Underwriter Laboratories. They do a ton of the tests for the fire service. You can find a ton of their information online as well as Underwriter Laboratories of Canada. I don't hear as much from them. And all these tests are determining the extinguishing capability of each size, type, and rating of extinguisher. These are the different ratings and what they are intended for. So they're identified in 2 ways. They're geometric shapes, specific, which includes like specific colors or the class letter in the shape, as well as pictographs. That'll show the most appropriate extinguisher for the fuel that is burning, or pictographs of what the extinguisher should not be used for. Here gives you a quick glimpse on the ratings. So with Class A fires, we have 1A through 40A. So the Class 1A is 1 1/4 gallons, 2, 2.5, and then so on. There's 1B through 640B. It's based on the square footage that a non-expert can put out with the fire extinguisher. C, there's no extinguishing capability test. It's just there to determine non-conductivity. Question?
As an expert firefighter, with a B extinguisher, it says like 20B for a non-expert. How much do you think you can put out?
I don't currently know, but I would like to look into that.
Okay.
And then D, also new numerical rating. It just tests for reactions, toxicity, and metal burnout time. And then K, also none. The tests are to ensure effectiveness against 2.25 square feet of light cooking oil in a deep fat fryer.
We have a use at window.
Okay. So these are what they're for. Class A fires, it's gonna be like textiles, paper, plastic, wood, rubber, pretty much anything you can put out with water, you can put out a Class A fire with, or would determine it's a Class A. Class B, flammable liquids, so hydrocarbons, alcohols, gases, all of the above. That's gonna be your Class B extinguishers. Your Class C is gonna be for energized electrical equipment. And then D, or combustible metals, it's gonna be like magnesium, potassium, zirconium, titanium. And then Class K, it's for your kitchen fires. It's included unsaturated cooking oils and well-insulated cooking appliances located in commercial kitchens. So, for Class A, textiles, paper, plastic, wood. Again, anything you can put out with water, it's gonna be considered a Class A fire typically. And they can be extinguished with a Class A fire extinguisher, water, water-based agents like Class A foam, dry chem. Their ratings go from 1A to 40A, and the rating is mounted on the based on the amount of water and range of discharge used in extinguishing fire tests. To calculate the water capacity of a Class A extinguisher, multiply the number in front of the A by 1 1/4. That'll give you the gallons of it. So a 1A rating, it'd be 1 1/4 gallons. 2A, 2 1/2, 3A, 3 3/4, and so on and so forth. Class B fires, these are gonna be your flammable liquids, alcohols, gases, LPG. The extinguishing agents used on special hazard Class B fires are often carbon dioxide to displace all the oxygen, dry chem, Class B foam. Combustible liquids and gases include alcohol, gas, lubricating oils, LPG. The extinguisher ratings on these are pretty easy. It's based on approximately 1 square foot of area of flammable liquid fire that a non-expert operator can extinguish using 1 full extinguisher. So, a non-expert operator expected to extinguish 1 square foot for each numerical rating or value of extinguisher rating. So, 1B would be just 1 square foot, up to 640, which would be 640 square feet. Class C, energized electrical equipment. So, any fire that's gonna involve energized electrical equipment, water and water-based agents can't be used on these. It's a safety risk. So, Class C agents will not conduct electricity like water can. But once the power supply is cut off, you can use a treat. Let me restart this. Once the power is shut off for the energized electrical equipment, you can treat it like a Class A fire, as the risk of getting electrocuted has gone away. These extinguisher ratings, they have capability tests not specifically conducted for Class C ratings. It's mostly to determine that it will not conduct electricity. And it's usually assigned in addition to a rating of a Class A or a Class B fire extinguisher. So if you want to determine the extinguishing capabilities of that Class C, you would want to look at the numerical rating for the Class A or B that is paired up with. Class D, so these are going to be your combustible metals and alloys. So your titanium, lithium, magnesium, potassium, sodium. Magnesium fires in particular, they can be identified by bright white emissions during the combustion process. And a lot of the common uses for magnesium is gonna be like cameras, laptops, luggage, metal box springs for beds. I've mostly seen them in like automotive parts and in the automotive industry. So with Class D extinguishers, you cannot use water on these. It will typically make it react really violently, potentially spreading the fire. And it'll emit bits of molten metal and could injure nearby people. So with Class D extinguishers, dry powder works best. Do not confuse the dry powder with dry chem. They're two completely different things. So you're not gonna wanna use an A, B, C fire extinguisher for this. You're only gonna wanna use the Class B or Class D fire extinguisher. And then with Class D, there's a bunch of factors that go into each test. Some of them being the reaction between the metal and the agent used in the Class D extinguisher, the toxicity of the agent, because as firefighters, nothing can be good for you, the toxicity of the fumes and products of combustion, and then the time to allow metal to burn completely without fire suppression versus with the intervention of using a Class D fire extinguisher. When extinguishing agent is determined safe for use on combustible metal, the manufacturers will include application instructions on the faceplate of the extinguisher, just about where the rating is on that extinguisher that I showed you. And then you do not want to use a Class D extinguisher as it doesn't receive any rating for use on any other classifications of fire. Class K. So these fires involve combustible cooking oils, such as vegetable or animal fat oils, oils that burn at an extremely high temperature. And then firefighters are usually gonna see these in homes, commercial or institutional kitchens, industrial cooking facilities. Really anywhere there's food being made, we're gonna see this. A lot of the time, wet chemical systems and portable fire extinguishers are used to control and extinguish Class K fires. They use the process of saponification to extinguish these fires. It converts the fatty acids and the fats of the oils into like a soapy film to help extinguish the fire. It works best in vegetable oil, peanut oil, canola oil, really oils with like little to no fatty acids. A lot of them contain wet chemical agents, contain an alkaline mixture such as potassium acetate, potassium carbonate, potassium citrate to suppress vapors and smother the fire. And then these agents are capable of extinguishing fire from a deep fryer using these light oils, typically with a surface area of 2.25 square feet, minimum criteria for a Class K rating. So, real quick for me, can you describe the 5 different ratings of fire extinguishers?
Got, A, B, C, D, and K. So
And what would like a Class A extinguisher be?
like, your wood or paper. Your B would be like gasoline. C, it'd be like electrical outlet. D would be your metals, and K would be your cooking, kitchen stuff.
And a Class D fire extinguisher, where do you think you'd most likely be able to see, or most likely see it?
Fab shops.
And then what does the number on a Class B extinguisher represent?
The square feet in which a non-expert
And then how do we treat a Class C fire, after it no longer has electricity?
Like a class A or B.
Awesome. Do you have any questions?
I do have a couple questions, actually. So, these extinguishers have these little tags on here.
Yeah.
What is that for?
That's for showing that they have been inspected in a reasonable amount of time.
Okay.
So fire extinguishers, if you let them sit for a while, it tends to cake down at the bottom. And so when you go to use it, it doesn't work anymore.
Okay. And then if like I use this, can I refill it myself or have to buy a new one? How does that work?
So on the larger ones, you can get them refilled by specific companies. But on like a little one like that, it's just gonna have to get thrown away and buy a new one.
And also again, I'm seeing all these little numbers here, like the health, flammability, and reactivity.
Yeah, so that's just showing it's a low health risk, but there's zero chance that it is itself flammable.
Okay. That's good to know. And then, do fire departments provide people extinguishers? Do like people have to go out and get them themselves?
We do not, but they're available at most hardware stores, or if it's a big company, there are companies designed to help provide you with extinguishers and inspect them.
Okay. So like, now I know about it. I know about my extinguisher. and
Do you
all-
know how to use it?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. How do I use this thing?
Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So you just pull that little pin on the side there. Pull it out. Don't actually pull it out. Pull, aim at the fire preferably if you would like to put it out. And then squeeze the handle there, and then sweep.
Okay. How big of a fire extinguisher would you recommend for the average person to have? Like,
For the average person,
yeah.
that is your typical size extinguisher that most people would have, in their homes, under their sink, in the garage.
Okay.
But I mean, never hurts to go bigger.
Never heard of bigger. Is there like a, can they go out of date? I mean, if I'm checking my tag and it says it's good with the pressure, like, can it still go out of date eventually?
Yeah, eventually they can go out of date. You're just gonna wanna make sure that you read your fire extinguisher when its numbers are up and when you're gonna need to get a new one.
Okay. This one's been checked, so.
I
This one
hope
look-
so.
this
It's in the
one
fire
look-
department.
Yeah, this one looked old, but it's been checked, so, I'm trying to think. So like, where would you find like just a class A fire extinguisher? Cause I don't see many of them at the hardware store.
So, a good place to look is online. You could just get just about anything online these days. But really I'd have to look into that to find a better answer for you.
Okay. And then, what experiences do you have using a fire extinguisher, either at the job or in your personal life? And kind of what was the story behind that?
Yeah, so the only time I've ever used a fire extinguisher was during my Fire 1 and 2 class. And I realized the importance of checking your extinguisher before you attempt to use it because it may be empty.
Okay.
Other than that, at the department, I use a water can. I prefer it due to the lower health risk. Do you have any other questions?
Do you keep these in your car, or would you recommend it in your vehicle?
I definitely recommend it, especially with vehicle fires. They're very prominent in today's age.
Okay, so like, recommend keep one in the vehicle, one in the kitchen for sure, and then like one in the bedroom maybe, just in case I'm in there and something gets crazy.
Yeah, never hurts to have it.
Never hurts to have it. Well,
It's a safety product, so.
it's more the merrier.
Yeah,
Well, that's all I got. Thank
Awesome.
you for educating me today. No.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
No problem.